And now, some quick thoughts from Man.
Well, you all know the drill. Except maybe this time you don't, because this time I'm going to cover two movies and a special that have been getting some pretty good buzz as of late. I'm doing it this way because a full review of each individual movie and special would be a little much and just take too long to make. So I'm just going to give my full, honest opinions on all three. And I'll even switch up my style a little by incorporating some of the footage from each movie and special, just for the occasion. So let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Tears. This movie was pure finesse, just grand, just amazing, just unbelievably fantastic. It invoked why this series is so amazing, why we love it so much, and it felt so cinematic in every way it could. It took Steven Universe to the next level that was the most logical step and made me very interested to see what happens next in season 6. This movie has such great love and care poured into it that to say otherwise would just be lying to yourself and just existence. The characters all feel like they've reached their peaks, that they are at the top of their game, which is why you have the plot come in to throw them off. Just about everyone was great, from Steven to Garnet to Pearl to Amethyst to Greg to Peridot to Lapis to Bismuth. All of them feel like they've reached that proper evolution of their characters. Kinda sucks Connie wasn't really in the movie that much. She was nice for what we got, but it just kind of sucks. She was kind of sidelined a bit, but everything else was still on point. Even Peridot makes subtle references to the fact that everyone's changed and everything. It's just kind of funny. I really enjoyed seeing everything in Beach City basically be more integrated with gem culture. Just seeing homeworld gems walking around and interacting with normal humans just felt like seeing the results of years of work being made and just plain paying off. The fan service was very strong and something that had me smiling. I found Steg, that's the official name for the Greg and Steven fusion, to be something pretty hilarious, and before anyone continues making this dumb joke, no, fusion doesn't equal sex. You friggin' perverts. The plot was a great way to showcase how everyone's changed over time, and it was such a strong means to get us possibly one of the best and or sympathetic villains in Steven Universe, Spinel. I will say this, I've only known her for about a few days, but if anything bad were to happen to her, I'd kill everyone on this site and then myself. But seriously, you will just want to hold and comfort her because of how bad she was treated. The movie manages to find a way to get you to hate Pink Diamond more than you probably already did with her abandoning Spinel the way she did. She's most definitely the biggest highlight of the movie with all the emotional impact she brings. She even gets Steven to see that with him stopping her is that it's his entire years-long story, but condensed into a whole day-long adventure. He learns a pretty strong lesson of accepting that he can't be complacent and happy all the time. He will always have work to do, but he's changed so much for the better that he can handle it. I really enjoyed that lesson for her. The ending resolution with Spinel I love because it showcases her acceptance at the wrong that she's done and that she doesn't deserve to be involved with Steven and his crew. After all she's done, she's not meant to have them as her friends. I'm also very happy with her going with the diamonds because it seemed like a good wrap-up for her story. I've heard some people be upset that she's another villain that gets redeemed, but I say just chill. It works within the context of the story. She's a sympathetic villain who can be redeemed. She's a villain of circumstance. I know some people want there to be a villain who's just evil through and through, but guess what? You have Marvel and DC for that. If she was just pure evil, it wouldn't really work with the overall tone of Steven Universe. And just as well, you should never be mad at a film for not doing what you wanted. The creators had a vision, and what matters most is if they properly brought that vision to life. Moving on, Spinel's movements are also very fun with her being in that old rubber hose style of animation from like the 20s and 30s. Her beginning fight, interactions with others, and ending fight are basically a whole spectacle. It really feels like the crew was just trying to flex whenever she was moving because it was absolutely fun just watching her be all over the place. Which brings me to the animation. It is phenomenal. This was them pushing themselves higher than before. The shots were playing gorgeous. Fight sequences were on a whole nother level. The ending fight was extraordinary overall with the use of strong dynamic angles and color and just plain animation. It could be a bit heart-pounding some of the time because the movie has such a high energy to it. I tell you now, I had the biggest smile on my face when it came to the music. I genuinely had to download the soundtrack immediately after hearing it. All the songs just plain land. They honestly are very reminiscent of Disney in terms of feel, and to a degree sound exactly like them, at least for some of them. The opening song and intro in general just has classic Disney written all over it, and it feels like a genuine homage to those classics of the day. Some of the songs are a smooth bop, and some play around with different styles, like Spinell's introduction song that uses electro swing, and other songs are deeply emotional that completely pull away at your heartstrings and just make you want to hug the character singing it. It's Spinell, obviously, by the way. I tell you now, whenever I hear some people say Steven Universe is objectively bad and it's awful, it's god-awful, those are some people who want to be mad about something because it's popular and don't like seeing strong emotions with really good music. They want to ignore the heart and soul placed into it. Is it a perfect series? Of course not, but what series is? This movie was plain excellence and a great showcase of how far the series has come, and the crew deserves a round of applause for this greatness. These people had to come back with a vengeance for Zim. Can't blame them since Nickelodeon screwed them over with canceling them so early, but the fans kept true to the series, and this movie felt like a love letter and thank you to them. This movie was insane and was firing on all cylinders. When they said they were making this into a movie, they meant every exact amount of that. Everything just feels bigger than anything the show had. Zim's entire plan even felt like something only a movie would be able to pull off. Seeing these characters still be in their prime was something I had a little worry about, but it completely subsided, honestly, with the first trailer. Zim and his crazy attitude was great to see again. Dem and his obsession with Zim were just hilarious. One thing that honestly amazed me about this was how they changed Gaz. She used to be just so uncaring about anything unless it was a video game. I didn't care for her character originally in the original series, but here they managed to make her enjoyable by not having her be too doom and gloom. She joins up with Dib and cares for her family in a somewhat non-caring way, but sort of caring way. She has fun. She actually has more to her than she did before. Dr. Membrane was really funny, and I like that they gave him those moments of him fighting. He has legit cool action scenes, which leads me to the animation. God, did they straight up the ante on the animation. Whether it was flying through space or big action sequences, they were going all out with it. I really like the more rounded style they went with versus the more pointy edge style from the original. It comes off as a natural evolution, especially with its return so many years later. They even had these funny moments of style switch-ups that got a good laugh out of me whenever it was well executed. There were a few moments where the animation got a little wonky, mainly because it was done in Toon Boom. I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe they ran out of the budget for those few scenes, but they're pretty quick, so they don't destroy the overall enjoyment of the movie. This airing on Netflix was honestly the best move, because otherwise it would have gone the route of the Jungle movie with not many people seeing it and the newer generation being a bit lost with who's who and what's what. But the movie actually works as its own thing that many can jump into without feeling alienated. This was just pure fun and a hilarious movie that showed why this series was needed. It's amazing how you could be gone for so long and still somehow feel like you never left. This special just felt like Rocko at its finest. Everything played like a natural progression for the series to take. The update to the animation was pretty nice. It looked more clean and managed to keep true to how Rocko normally is with its wackiness. The gross out jokes were a little like, ew, but it wouldn't be Rocko without some of them. Thankfully, there aren't that many to the point that it's all gross out and you're made to feel sick of it. All the pop culture jokes and references managed to land, and I like how they went about their message about new things in this day and age. You had Rocko being a little uneasy with the changes, albeit a little agitated by them whenever he ended up getting messed with by them, and Heifer and Filbert were more acceptable of the changes since they could see all the good it brought. Them running through O-Town and seeing all these parodies of famous stores like the O-Phone store or BuzzBucks was pretty funny. Rocko just wanting his favorite show back was a strong commentary on nostalgia fans who just can't accept the new. We all know quite a few of those people who just don't want to go buy the original thing on DVD or something and let the new stuff shine, hint hint. But they captured Rocko's attitude perfectly. The social commentary overall was on point, especially with the joke of Conglommo basically owning most of the world's goods and economy and being too big to fail. You know the creators were looking at what's going on right now and know what's exactly about to go down. Seriously, people, be on the lookout. Speaking of social commentary, Ralph Bighead becoming Rachel, I feel was handled with a lot of care, which makes sense since the creators had help from GLAAD, i.e. the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. It felt like a genuine character arc for Rachel to go through. I know some clowns will be those doofuses to say, oh, it's SJW propaganda. And what I have to say to that is, you're right. And that's a good thing, because it shows how trans people should be treated in this day and age. They're not some oddity that should be ostracized for being different. They are normal people like you or me who don't deserve to be treated as if they're wrong. I did enjoy the joke where they had Filbert get her name wrong. The ending with Rachel and Ed I enjoyed a lot, especially with Ed being against Rachel's change at first and learning to accept his new daughter. Though I will say Rocko having that small regression felt a little out of nowhere, but thankfully it was small enough that it doesn't derail the overall message, which I honestly feel that only Rocko could properly handle. It was just a great special that managed to keep up with the times while keeping true to the humor and spirit of Rocko's modern life. It was a good special, and if they decide to bring it back, I don't think I'd be against it. As long as they have this good amount of humor and commentary, I think it'd be all for the better. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and be sure to make sweet love to that subscribe button. And also tease that little bell so you'll be notified of new videos whenever they come out. And tell me what your thoughts are on each of these movies and special. And always remember, it's just a thought.